My pal Steve Bernas is the president and CEO of the Better Business Bureau of Chicago in Northern Illinois, and he's trying to save you from yourself and save us from us because we are the greatest danger to ourselves when we fall victim to these scams. It doesn't make you a bad person. Just means you got to know more. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning, Steve. Thank you so much for having me today.
Nice to have you back. As soon as the weather warms up, you and I will play a little golf.
That's right.
And we'll talk about people behind their backs because that's what we do.
Yep.
Don't tell us.
Let me publicly thank you again for the lovely award you presented to me for the Better Business Bureau for, just whatever it is we do here in regards to the media and continuing to big mouth the good work you do.
Well, thank you so much, Steve. We're so honored to give you our highest media award today. Diogenes Award for media excellence. All you've done over the years, and you've been a great asset to the organization and to the people and your listeners all across the world.
Did you feel that my 1 hour and 45-minute acceptance speech was too long?
No, I fell asleep. I don't know. I thought it was fine.
Well, as long as you got a nap. Allison Rosati, who's been a pal for 30 years.
She's great.
Walked out right before I started talking.
What?
Yeah.
Well, she knew it was going to be an hour
Some
and a half.
people said it was because she had to do the 10 o'clock news. I felt it was a protest. All right, Steve, let's dive in. Tax scams.
Well, the IRS is doing a lot of warnings recently because of tax deadlines next week, obviously. But one of the concerns they're having is taking tax advice on social media can be bad news for taxpayers. And I think there's a lot of inaccurate or misleading tax information circulating now. So we're asking consumers, the IRSs as well, to please avoid those kind of advice on the online world and listening to people on TikTok or those other sites. They don't know what they're talking about. They're trying to make it look like you can get a bigger refund when it's actuality. It could be a fraudulent tax return, which could, face significant civil and criminal penalties. So I wouldn't listen to somebody on TikTok saying they know the best advice on how to file their tax return.
If you're getting your tax advice from TikTok, it's already over. Steve can't help you.
Right.
So what about these people that do fill out your return for you? How do you stop it?
Well, obviously, it's hard because a lot of people don't realize that their taxes have been filed already until they try to file their own taxes and somebody else has filed. It's really just protecting your personal information as much as possible so the scammer or the criminal doesn't get your information to file tax returns. The IRS, claims about $5.7 billion was lost as tax scams last year, and it keeps growing each and every year. Unfortunately, the scammers are always one step ahead and trying to take advantage of the consumers, and they file fake tax returns. And it happens so often. I hear from friends, it's like, how did it happen to me? And well, you're part of identity theft somewhere down the line where they had a breach or, somehow they got your information and they build a file on you, Steve, as you know, and the more you give them, the more they have, and then they file tax returns.
So, Steve, I know this, but I almost got caught. I got a text message that said, "This is the IRS. We have a question about your filing." And I looked at it, I'm like, what? Because I filed my taxes. So I thought, well, of course, my phone number's on there. But I'm like, wait a minute. They're never going to email or text me. So I just deleted it. Is that good enough?
That is good enough, and don't click on anything in them. The IRS doesn't do that, as you mentioned. They only send you letters, and that's the extent of it. Anybody asking for information on your return or asking for your personal information, like Social Security number, your account number, that's usually the tip-off to the rip-off when somebody calls you out of the blue or texts you. It's getting to a point where, we say, stop answering the text, stop clicking on text, and call the company itself directly, and don't even answer your phones unless it's from, of course, Steve or somebody on your contact list, because the scammers are just continuously bombarding the public, and everybody's on these do not call lists, but they're criminals. They don't care if you're on a do not call list. They're going to call anybody they can.
Fake charities is something you've always warned us about. But there's also fake online help, like, your congressman's doing this bill or that bill, and they'll try to ask you for money for that. There's phishing, but there's also something called smishing. And smishing, I don't know about. That's the text part?
That's the text part. That's the SMS part, and they call it smishing, where you get a text saying that click on this link and something, now they're kind of telling you something's wrong with your account. They're kind of putting the fear in you. Oh, you just bought a TV, Steve. If you want this reversed, click here. And you panic, you think you would just bought a TV or someone used your account. So you click here. What's your credit card? You have to look up your account, Steve, and you give them your information, and then they ask you for additional information. Before they know it, they steal your identity or steal money from your credit card.
Basically, if it has anything to do with taxes, don't click on it.
Don't click on it. Yeah, don't click it. Go to the professionals. Go to people you know and trust. Check out the tax return preparer on bbb.org at the Better Business Bureau. And if they don't want to sign it when they do your taxes, that's Ghost Tax Preparer, and that's something you should be avoiding and be very concerned about. They want to sign it.
So it's last minute. People haven't started their taxes. They just Google it up, and they're looking for a tax website. What are we looking for?
Well, obviously, you're looking for somebody who can help you prepare your taxes. So you got to look for somebody you know you can trust, or you can do it yourself. There's a lot of programs that actually help you do it yourself, but please do some research online. I can't recommend one.
Right, but we're looking for the Better Business Bureau logo on these websites, or we're looking for some sort of notification that this is a real deal, not a fake website.
Exactly. You want to look for something. You want to find something. You can't find anything in that person or the individual or that company. That's a warning sign as well. You got to have some credibility and validity to it. And sometimes they use our logo or the IRS logo in saying that they're a good company, and people think, hey, they are, and they don't check it out. So if you see our logo, IRS logo, or information, you got to do your own due diligence yourself and making certain they are accredited by us or that they are who they say they are.
And there's something called offer and compromise. If you get behind on your taxes or you can't pay your taxes or you got a debt to settle, and then the pressure's even higher and you're going, oh, my God, I just want this to go away. But those scams are out there too, right?
They do, yeah, because you look for help online and Google, and guess what? They take the ads up on top, and that's how they get the first and second position. And people think they're true, accurate representation of what they can do for you. And that's the ones always when somebody's needs in dire help, and that's how the scammers always win, because you want to fix it because you're drowning in debt or you need to pay this off or file your taxes, and then they take advantage of you in some way, shape, or form. You just got to do the research, Steve. It's just so frustrating that people call us after they've been scammed, but they do all the research after and they realize they've been scammed. Well, you should have done it all before. You wouldn't have been scammed, and that's the key.
It's 6:45. Just before we go to traffic, one other thing, and that is this. If Herb, who works with me, is really good at math and offers to do my taxes, and I hate doing my taxes, and Herb doesn't have a license, but did I mention he's really good at math? Bad idea?
Most times it is a bad idea. You know, have somebody knows that trusts who does these types of returns. A lot of people, friends, I got a guy that can help you, which can get you more consequences later down the road. It's best to find somebody who's qualified, who's licensed, and has a track record of doing tax returns because when it ends up happening, you can file a fake return or a bad return, and they're going to come after you down the road with an audit.
And while you're responsible for your own numbers and your own taxes, even if you have a professional tax preparer, they do have skin in the game if they're a licensed preparer and they've done the return. So there's a responsibility chain there, yes?
Yes, there is. Exactly. If they're licensed, and a lot of people say they're licensed or not licensed, Steve. So that's the key. You got to check out and make sure that verify the information they presented to you.
It all seems so common sense when we talk to you.
But you could be in a hurry, and then you just skip over the parts. Yeah.
The thing I worry about is, we listen to you, we get it, and then we go, blah, 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 and then we walk outside and we hand money to people. So
right.
Stop giving away your information. Listen to Steve Bernas. Check out the Better Business Bureau, and you're going to be better for it. What's the website?
bbb.org. Before you buy or hire, BBB it.
Thank you, buddy. All right.
Have a good day.
6:46. That's Steve Bernas. Tax man.